From a person that got trapped in an airplane, to a kid hiding in the plane's engine, a Karen meltdown, a passenger duct taped to the seat, on-flight concert, and the Falcons raiding a plane, here are our top picks of things caught by flight passengers on camera. UFO. Do y'all believe in the presence of extraterrestrials, and that they visit our planet by riding on their UFOs? Well, no worries even if you don't, because this clip is enough to convince you. This bizarre mid-air UFO sighting freaked out a plane passenger who then started to film it. The video was captured on a plane flying over the Aegean Sea. The supposed UFO performed several maneuvers that seemed impossible for any known aircraft to pull off. If we talk about its authenticity, according to me, it looks pretty real. You can even hear a woman in the background asking what it is.
What is it? Karen, what is that? What is that?
Bat on the flight. An Indian flight had to make a forced landing after a bat was seen flying through the plane. The stowaway passenger was spotted on board a 15-hour Air India flight from Delhi, India to Newark, New Jersey, USA. All the passengers got extremely agitated and scared by the presence of this flying fox. This incident happened when the plane was just half an hour into the flight. If I were on the plane, I surely would have freaked out big time. But did you guys know that when wildlife experts boarded the plane to retrieve the bat, it was found dead in the business class section? The humans got to the poor fella. The pilot's prank. The pilot and her boyfriend decided to prank her by acting as if the pilot had died. The lady immediately starts panicking and crying. She even tries to take off her seatbelt, but her boyfriend tells her not to. In the end, he starts laughing and the pilot wakes up. I wondered if they're still together after that. Turbulence. Many people don't travel through the air due to being terrified of the turbulence. A passenger on a flight from Kosovo to Switzerland captured the moment his plane hit a severe pocket of turbulence. Ten people were injured in the incident aboard the ALK Airlines flight from Pristina to Basel, including a member of the cabin crew who was thrown into the ceiling. Passengers can be heard shouting in the video, with some praying and others crying. The incident happened about 20 minutes before the plane was due to land. Emergency personnel were waiting on the tarmac and helped the passengers upon their landing. Planes fly too close to one another. These South African aircraft got too close to comfort and gave the passengers literal chills. They performed an extremely close formation flight. It looks as if both of the aircraft are going to collapse into each other. These Air Canada ones were just modeling. I mean, they were filming for a commercial, so the planes had to be super close. And this Silkway one was also pretty close due to filming for a commercial. I guess there's a great scope for modeling in the aviation industry. Falcons on a trip. Imagine boarding a plane only to see most of the section covered with falcons. Yup, that really happened. Even falcons are more of a gentry than I am. Look at all of them chilling in their seats. This picture of about 80 falcons aboard a flight is making rounds on social media. This flight was specially booked by a Saudi prince so that his beloved falcons could travel without any inconvenience. People are even calling out the prince on his elitism. And this video was uploaded by a person who had an interesting seatmate during his flight. Look how calmly he is sitting on the lap of his owner.
Does she ever put her wings out? When sometimes she has.
Woman opens emergency exit. A woman opened the emergency exit on a plane in central China's Hubei province. And why was that? Was there an emergency? No. She literally opened it because according to her, she needed fresh air. Yeah, fresh air. She was told by the cabin crew not to open the door, but precisely the next moment, she replied that she needed some fresh air and touched the button, opening the emergency exit. Of course, the woman was detained and taken away by the police, and because of her inconsiderate actions, the flight got delayed for another hour. Mask or flight? Remember during the pandemic when there was so much fuss about the masks and how many people were refusing to wear one? Well, this Karen got the best of her when she refused to wear masks. A woman on a Frontier Airlines flight from Cincinnati to Tampa was asked to leave after she refused to wear a mask and was heard swearing by a staff member.
Ma'am, you need to have a mask on. You need to have the paper mask that they provided. It has, ma'am.
Even when the staff member politely asked her to put on the mask,
I'm speaking to you.
she started swearing at her.
Thanks. Okay, you're done. Let's go. You're gonna go on the aircraft.
As she was getting removed, the other flight passengers began to chant,
You're done. You're not gonna speak to me like that. You have to comply. You agreed to this when you checked into our flight.
"Bye, Karen," over her inexcusable behavior. Spitting and yelling on the flight. An unruly passenger was removed from a JetBlue plane at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport after she started misbehaving about having to sit next to a child.
Alrighty. Tape this! Who's taping this?
She was seen yelling and also spitting on the plane before her removal. She was also constantly swearing at the passengers and the staff.
I didn't do anything. I sat down in my seat.
The woman even tried to re-enter the plane after leaving and then hit a JetBlue agent on the head who tried to stop her. The woman was eventually handcuffed, but then she refused to walk and demanded a wheelchair. The security officials applied leg restraints, after which she was taken to the police station. Man, I would easily sit along with 10 infants than that crazy chick. Duct taped to the seat. When a child is being incredibly nosy, don't you just want to duct tape their mouth? Well, that's a fantasy, but do you guys know that they do this on planes with annoying passengers? During a flight on Frontier Airlines from Philadelphia to Miami, an Ohio man was filmed shouting and cursing at passengers mid-flight.
My parents are recording goddamn gallons. And you know what?
Passengers helped restrain Barry, who was then bound to his seat with duct tape for the remainder of his flight. Look, even then he can't shut up.
Ladies and gentlemen, just make sure you see.
He was later sentenced to 60 days in jail, followed by a 1 year of supervised release.
You have no goddamn idea what's coming for you.
My dad always said, with duct tape, you can fix anything. The ultimate revenge. This woman who wanted to watch the screen, but the woman sitting in front of her blocked the entire view. She decided to take revenge. The furious passenger then proceeded to put gum in the hair of the woman. Wow, that's gutsy. But she didn't just stop right there, as she then clipped some of the hair strands by using her nail cutter. No, no, no! And there's more. She then dipped her hair into her mug, which was full of coffee.
Upright in the last position, and your idle armrest is lowered.
What do you guys think of this? Was this all justified, or did she take it too far? Tell us by commenting down below. Karen meltdown. Here, this woman got upset when a woman sat with her sleeping baby.
I'm sorry, is that a baby?
Yeah, but it's sleeping.
She immediately asks the other woman to relocate to another seat.
I don't want to sit here. Can you please move her? Sir.
No, it's gonna be okay.
After seeing that the staff is not buying her stance, she got angry.
Please move her to another seat, maybe next to someone else with a child. That would be the respect.
The mother repeatedly asked her to calm down by assuring her that the baby is sleeping, and it was only a 1 hour flight.
Sorry, but the baby's asleep. She's been awake earlier and now she fell asleep. She'll be fine. It's only an hour flight.
But we all know Karens can't take no for an answer. She started raving on and on.
Good baby and bad baby. I do not want to sit next to a baby.
Can you just have the mask?
You understand this, right?
The staff present during the flight asked her to calm down, but the woman really wasn't having it.
But I can hear you loud and clear. I can hear you loud and clear. You're gonna wake up the child. It's a short flight.
In the end, all the other passengers started chanting, "Get her off the plane!"
Yell me all you want. Just sit down and film.
No.
I did not call
I
you
am
idiot.
going to send.
Get her off the plane!
Excuse
Get her off the
me.
plane! Get her off the
Excuse me.
plane!
After which she starts screaming, ultimately leaving no choice to the security officials but to detain her off the premises. Trapped in the plane! This woman named Tiffany Adams while flying from Quebec to Toronto. She fell asleep during the flight, but when she woke up, she was freezing cold and still buckled into her seat. But the aircraft was parked. After realizing that there was no way out, she quickly texted a friend. She tried to FaceTime, but her phone's battery died, and the USB outlets were useless without the plane's power turned on. Her friend then called Toronto Pearson International Airport to alert them that her friend was still inside the plane. A while later, she was rescued. Air Canada has confirmed the incident occurred and is investigating. Later, Tiffany reported that being forgotten on the plane had left her with recurring night terrors.
It was completely pitch black. I thought, this is a nightmare, this is not happening.
Kid hides in plane wing. A Nigerian kid hid in a plane wing that was going to Europe, but the authorities found him just before takeoff. Yeah, the dream of the boy to reach Europe was crushed, but if he hadn't come out of that wing, he himself would have been crushed by the airplane engine. The fussy toddler. Look at this toddler who screamed his lungs out while accompanying his mother on a flight. The flight was from Germany to New York, but the passengers described it as a flight from hell. It was an 8-hour flight, but for them, it lasted for an eternity. Literally, I am amazed at the patience of these passengers. According to the people, the mother did little to nothing to stop her child. It was as if she was habitual of all of this. She demanded the staff to provide her with a Wi-Fi password so she could distract the toddler with the games, but the kid was hell-bent on making everyone else miserable. Imagine your kid is so annoying that he ends up getting on the news. Pilot surprises parents. 2 passengers got a big surprise on a flight into Singapore when the first-year pilot, Raphael, made an unexpected announcement. Actually, the pilot's parents were on board, and he decided to surprise them while on board by announcing from his cabin.
And this is a very special flight for me because my parents are on board.
The young pilot gave an extra sweet ending to its parents' vacation by taking over their plane back to Singapore. Initially, he was destined to fly another flight, but he managed to swap the flight with another pilot so he could surprise his parents. The parents obviously were super proud. Look at his mother, so proud of her little one. Such a wholesome moment. Passenger live stream to say goodbye. Plane rides often give us some heart-aching and sad moments too. This man named Marty Martinez thought that these were his last instances of life. So as a goodbye, he started a live stream to say goodbye to the people close to him. Luckily, everything turned out to be fine, and he later explained that he did it to be close to the people he loves. It was indeed a scary situation, as you can see how all the passengers were wearing oxygen masks in sheer fear. Marty later said he heard a loud boom that made everyone think that this was it. The loud boom was the voice of the blown-up engine. Pray for safety. They say that it's never a good sign when your pilot gets religious, but that's exactly what happened on a scary AirAsia X flight from Australia to Malaysia, as the plane shook like a washing machine for 2 hours. It wasn't weather or anything natural, but some technical issues with the aircraft. The passengers applauded the AirAsia pilot after the aircraft landed safely in Perth. Once on the ground, passengers were told that one of the blades had come off the aircraft's turbines. No wonder he asked them to pray. Later, when interviewed, a passenger reported that the rattling started straight away. He further added that it was like being in a washing machine or on a compressor. According to him, the crew was really good, although the pilot asked them to pray twice and said he was scared too. Landing on the same runway. We boys often place bets on speeding on a racetrack, but even airplane pilots have this ego of competing with their fellow pilots for the runway. Look at these Slovak government aircraft that approach the same runway. Looks like a tough competition between the two. But the left one manages to get it. This stunt was a part of the famous annual Slovak International Airfest, but if performed carelessly, it could lead to a catastrophic end. I think these next ones put a bet out, because the two airplanes took off and landed at the same time on the same runway. Woman breastfeeding a cat. Yeah, you heard the title. Even the title is enough to creep a person out. I myself am kind of pretty sickened by it. The passenger sitting next to the lady notices her and alerts the flight attendant to the situation. Firstly, the attendants refuse to accept it and pass on the cat wrapped in a cloth as a baby.
What?
She's breastfeeding a cat.
No, sir, breastfeeding is allowed here on this airline?
When the attendant asked her to show the baby, she replied that she is in the middle of something.
Can you just show us the baby?
No, I'm in the middle of something.
The lady kept on claiming it was a baby, denying all the allegations by the man. While the flight attendant orders the lady to produce proof, the lady refuses to accept any responsibility.
Defending me and my privacy and instead asking me whether or not this is a cat. It's not a cat. I said it's not a cat.
In the end, when he removed the cloth, it was revealed that it really was a cat, but the woman insisted that it was a lynx and not a cat.
It's a lynx, not a cat. There's a big difference.
There's a lynx.
Many have called it a stunt, but to be honest, I'll be pretty grossed out if it was real. Kitty on an open flight. This open plane flight turned out to be something else. During this flight, a cat turned up from one of the wings. Now, don't worry, as the cat was inside the wing, not on it. Though it appears that she is in danger, she was actually pretty safe there. The danger was if she wanted to get down to reach the woman or the pilot. Though it was a natural instinct for the lady to reach towards the cat by ensuring her safety, the pilot told her not to reach for the cat or not to move at all. According to him, he trusted the cat to not move if they didn't try to reach for her first. In the end, you can see the pilot smiling before landing, as he was pretty sure that by then, the cat wouldn't move, and there was a relief of tension. Violinist on the plane. Wouldn't it be fun if your flight would turn into a free concert? The Philadelphia Orchestra musicians performed on the flight waiting on the Beijing tarmac. When they found out that their flight was delayed on the tarmac for 3 hours, the musicians decided to provide a pop-up performance for the passengers as entertainment. Look how all the passengers are having fun filming it. I bet the dudes from the first class wished to be here that day. The performance sure was a banger. This other clip is from the flight of US Airways, during which the hip-hop duo named as Black Violin decided to surprise the flight with their performance. It cheered up everybody on board, as they applauded heartily at the end of the performance. Why don't these things happen when I'm on a plane? Passenger lands the plane. A Florida man with no flying experience landed a plane at a South Florida airport last week after the pilot became incapacitated. Darren Harrison, 39, was heard over the radio when he told air traffic control that he had gotten into a serious situation when the pilot became incoherent. He further told them that he had no idea how to fly the plane.
I've got a serious situation here. My pilot has gone incoherent. I have no idea how to fly the airplane, but
He was one of 2 passengers in a single-engine Cessna 208 that had taken off earlier that day from Marsh Harbor International Airport in the Bahamas. Harrison was able to land the plane at Palm Beach International with guidance from a certified flight instructor and air traffic controller. Several other controllers also assisted Harrison in landing the plane. Even though he had no prior experience, he easily managed to land the plane. Everybody was super impressed at how he tackled the situation under intense pressure. Fireworks from the plane. Have you ever imagined how the fireworks would look from the sky? As millions of New Yorkers gathered to watch the annual Macy's 4th of July fireworks, a few lucky people got to see them from the air. Photographer and private pilot Philip Wolak took his camera out with a pilot friend to photograph the show. He stayed slightly above 7,000 feet for the whole show to avoid controlled airspace, in which he would have required a special permit and would have been required to stay in constant contact with air traffic control. And this one was taken from a plane in Chicago in 2017, 4th of July celebration. Those little lights shimmering are the fireworks. Rich people and their rich stuff, oh boy. Okay guys, I would say this. From the ground, fireworks look more pretty to me. Announcement on plane. These days, people propose or announce their pregnancy in quite a creative and dramatic way. The middle seat passenger on this return home flight from Las Vegas to Philadelphia looks confused when the pilot goes on the loudspeaker and starts talking to him about winning a surprise jackpot.
Can I have your attention, please? We'd like to do something special for our lucky winners who won big here in Las Vegas, Nevada.
The man had no idea that his wife was pregnant, or that he was going to be a dad. He received a massive shock when he was listening to the pilot's announcement, only to know that he was going to be a dad.
Congratulations, you're about to be a dad.
First, he got shocked, then teary-eyed, after which he kissed his wife. The moment melted all the passengers as they started to cheer and clap. Today's open discussion is a picture of a supposed alien pod, or a UFO, that was clicked by a flight passenger. It was reported that after sighting this, the man tried to alert the other passengers too, but by then it disappeared into the sky. Well, that's all for today, guys. Thank you for watching the video. And if you guys found it interesting, I would much appreciate it if you comment down below about the video and leave a thumbs up. Last but not least, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon for getting updates related to our latest videos.